Hey, great news when it comes to Ozzy Osbourne. Well, great news and kind of sad news, but kind of great news.
Did he die?
No,
Okay.
I'm telling you right now,
He's never.
Ozzy Osbourne won't die. I tweeted out this morning, he will not die.
Keith Richards or Ozzy first?
Oh, Keith Richards way before Ozzy Osbourne. I'm serious. Now
Because he hasn't
now
yet.
I'm starting to think that
Okay. That makes sense.
His wife and manager Sharon Osbourne posted yesterday. Ozzy never posts for himself. She posts for him, saying that the No More Tears Tour 2, which was supposed to start in Europe in January, has been postponed again because he's going in for extensive and major neck and spinal surgery.
God.
And then somehow they tracked him down. He's like, I've been in immense pain since 2019 when he had a nasty fall, and it's been really rough. I'm in a lot of pain. I've gone through a lot of physical therapy. He said, I do want to tell you that if, in fact, one morning I don't wake up, it will not be because of Parkinson's. It'll be because of something else. He said, I've been dealing with Parkinson's since 2003. He said, I'm living with it. I didn't even know I had it. He said, it is certainly something that evolves. He said, but right now it's very, very slow, and it's manageable, and so I'm good. And so then Sharon said, I will do whatever it takes to get my hubby back on stage. So you're talking about a guy who's 71, 72 years old, who, and we talked about the documentary that's fantastic, Lights Out. You need to watch the Ozzy Osbourne A&E documentary. It's killer. And now he's going in for extensive spinal surgery and neck surgery to help with his pain that he goes through, and then she's going to push him back on stage. He will die on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a dude where I'm trying to think.
Does he play an instrument?
No.
Has he ever played an instrument?
No.
Okay, I just want to.
Can you think of any other individual that you can definitively say that person was created by God to put on earth
to do
this job? Now, it could be a mission job.
Yeah.
It could be preacher.
Yeah.
It could be God's work, but you could make an argument that Ozzy Osbourne's doing God's work too because his fan base loves his music, and
it's a stretch.
It is a stretch, just like that vibrator was. But I mean, you could make an argument that he brings joy to many people, and people find a lot of joy, and because of that, they could be more worldly.
Yes,
and more
he
dominant.
is. I mean,
so.
Well, you know who I would say?
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is we're doing it because he's like on the brink of death constantly. But, look, take anyone, Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like Mick Jagger. What are you doing now?
I'm kidding.
The vibrator?
I'm getting texts from my friends of pictures of, what is it, $33.50 for that damn thing?
Yeah.
$33.50 for that ring?
Because
are you serious?
Listen, it's got to be.
Robbie Glenn, who will join the show coming up here in just
He texted you that?
Yeah.
That's going to be a pivot for him.
We're going to have to get away from this before we start talking about Striker Strong at 8:30 this morning. Great
you can get. I bet you can get that on Amazon.
Oh, I'm sure you could. What was I talking about?
Ozzy's going to die on stage because he was put on God's great earth.
So he's going to go through all this therapy. So now they're probably talking late 2022 and early 2023, which means he'll be 73, 74.
How does he sing? I mean, the part we talked about Linda Ronstadt and Parkinson's, maybe his is not that bad, I guess.
He can still scream it. I mean, he
right, because Linda Ronstadt was singing.
If you watch him sing, he's just kind of walking through it. I mean, it's still Ozzy Osbourne, and he still sounds like any other artist could not pull off what he pulls off. He's still Ozzy. I mean, I'm the point now where I'm trying to think if there's any other person. This is the question. I'm trying to think, is there any other person where I was like, okay, God put this person on earth to do this, and
Tony Kurre to be on the radio.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're 40 years in.
Yeah,
you got some neck pain.
Yeah. But I mean, when you put so much, because normally your job does not define who you are.
You're right.
It shouldn't. We're always told psychologically, you should never let your work define you. There's a bigger purpose in life. Yeah. It could be your family, your friends, whatever, blah, blah, blah. In this particular case, I'm believing that Ozzy Osbourne is defined by what he does.
Sure. Well, and listen, we talked about this yesterday.
And he tried, he tried to get off the road and settle down. And he went bat crazy. And his wife was like, you know what? And she loved having him around. He'd sleep on the couch all day. He was out herding goats, playing with his kids.
Herding?
And he was like, and he's like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. And she's like, you know what? I'm not happy. If you're not happy, we need to put you back on the road.
So listen, that piece is what we've been talking about for weeks. This is the rockers who are going out and saying, I'm 75 years old, I'm 71 years old, I need to go out on tour. Yeah. I mean, he's at the extreme of it, but again, look at the Rolling Stones. Why are they not hanging it up? Right? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I do think there are people who there are people who were put here to do something, to do a task, and for musicians, it's music, right? There's other pieces that they don't want to do, right? But it's music, and I mean, I guess I would call for Ozzy Osbourne it's entertainment. Don't you see? I mean, don't you? His is the same as oh God, I don't even know. It's like nobody. He's Ozzy. I can't. There's no category. Yeah. There is no.
He's his own category. And I mean, it would be a real shame if somehow he does not get back up on stage somewhere, and he will. It doesn't matter.
Would you want to see Ozzy? Okay, let's do this though.
They will roll him out in a wheelchair.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. Would you want to see Ozzy in even more of a compromised state just to see him?
Yeah.
But is that a good thing? Like, are we doing that to support him? Or are we doing it more like the train wreck?
No, I'm doing it because it would probably be the last time I get a chance to see him, and I'm doing it for him. Because I know it'd probably mean more to him than it would be to me.
So this is the equivalent. All right, so here we go here. Here's the equivalent.
The worst thing that could happen is Ozzy Osbourne plays a concert and only 5,000 people show up. Right. They would come in droves.
So this is the equivalent of, you said Tony Bennett is 95, and he's got Alzheimer's, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is Glenn Campbell. Doing his tour. And, but Alzheimer's is different because you don't even know, you're not even cognizant. I mean, again, this is the last push. It's the last thing that you're doing. Have we ever had any rockers that knowingly and have said, I'm dying of cancer?
Not that I know of. The whole Tony Bennett thing, by the way, made me a little uncomfortable.
Why?
Because when you do have onset of dementia or Alzheimer's, and I don't know how far he had progressed, obviously he went pretty far. I don't know how much he was really cognizant of what he was actually doing with Lady Gaga in New York for that last show. And I'm not saying his kids were pushing him out. He's 95 years old. And again, I don't know how far along he was. Right. But if you're...
Did you see the Glenn Campbell? Did you see the Glenn Campbell documentary?
Oh my gosh!
Did you?
Heart-wrenching.
Yes, and so that, I mean, I think that's a really good example.
And the last single that he sang was like, oh my gosh! It was so.
But that becomes, it's more about with dementia, particularly if it's further along. If it's in the early stages, folks in the early stages, they're there, and then they have moments where they're not there, right? Yeah. They kind of check out. But even in the later stages, before it starts taking hold, not just of your cognitive abilities, but your physical abilities, and you and I have both seen that with our parents. Yeah. There are events, actions, things that patients with Alzheimer's or dementia will do that emotionally put them in a good place, right? And in fact, a lot of times I had to do this with my dad, but a lot of times I'll have to educate, how do I talk to my mom when she's demented and she's saying crazy things and she's saying terrible things to me? And, I always say the same thing because it's kind of like a brain injury. Base everything you say and the whole conversation on her emotional response. So it doesn't matter the words. Yeah. You want her to not be upset. Yeah. You want her to not be agitated. So if she's saying crazy things, if she's calling you a blah, 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 and hey, yeah, that's great, Mom. And so you see that, I think, with entertainers. Glenn Campbell did that. We saw, and he looked happy. Mm-hmm. He was sort of clowning around in a non-demented way, and they had people just kind of think. But I mean, to me, the Ozzy piece... I saw the last time he performed. Yep. They literally had to prop him up in a chair. Well, I guess I guess you do it. You're doing it for what we kid you. You'll be in front of this microphone, and someone's going to have to wipe the drool off your face. And turn the thing on.
If it's something you truly love,
that's true.
And they want to perform, I don't care how bad he sounds. I'll probably go to support him at least
to
once.
Support him. I love that.
Yeah,
I think-
there's some things where they think they still got it,
Right.
and they're getting after it, and you're like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm not spending $100 to see this. With Ozzy is pretty transparent and pretty
Well, he doesn't-
authentic to what he's been and what he's going
Well,
through.
he's got nothing to hide. There's nothing he can hide.
He's not trying to sell us on anything. He's just saying, I love to do this, and I hope you come see me.
That's
And I'm like,
breaking
I'm
my
in.
heart.
This is like seeing someone in a nursing home.
I know.
It's going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be weird smells. You're going to see some things that are really uncomfortable, but I really love it if you come visit me. That's Ozzy Osbourne.
By the way, I listened